Hey everyone, Carmine Dinisco here on the Launch Network. We got a great show today. Get retail ready with Mr. Jim Debetta. Let's bring the man on. He's in his new studio. Let's have a look. Hey Jim, what's happening, man?
Yeah, it's just a same studio, different wall. Yes, we're gonna do. Yes, we've already agreed. We're gonna do a show on Jim's background, and so I'm gonna make it as obnoxious as possible next time. So maybe people can get like. Send us emails and messages about suggestions for backdrops and stuff like that. We'll take fan suggestions.
You know what's funny, Jim, is that when people call you and they want you to help them get your product in the store, their product in the store, and they say, how's your, tell me about your background. They're not talking about the wall behind you.
No, they actually are. They just want to know they just want to know what it looks like. It's amazing. It's one of those things I told you, we were just talking, all of us, before we got on. People actually will email or message me on social media about this type of stuff, like the background, about how it looks. To me, and I know it means a lot to a lot of people, but it's like the content. What are you learning? Are you learning something here? Are you getting something useful? When you listen for 30 minutes or watch, did you learn something? Because I know I've looked at podcasts and things online where the background was great. The person was all dressed up and I didn't learn a thing. So if I have a choice, I know this is me justifying being lazy with a white wall and a door. But if I can teach somebody something, isn't that more important than the fancy background you have? And our guest Carlos Alvarez, who's going to be on, his looks all nice and professional. He's got a whole mic set up like you do. It all looks all fancy, and I don't know.
You know what they say, Jim? Image is everything.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've gotten this far in life. I guess I maybe have to make a change or something. Anyway, we certainly have a great guest on today, because we all know that Amazon is always the elephant in the room. You can't avoid it, whether you love Amazon, don't love Amazon, want to be on it, don't want to be on it. You can't avoid it. And in the world of retail, Amazon's taken on a life of its own. So let's introduce Carlos Alvarez. Carlos, good morning.
What's up? Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, and just so everyone knows, I was just on his show recently, and we've just put it out there. The Wizards of Amazon. It was a great show. We talked about really more about like the retail end of things as it pertains or doesn't pertain to Amazon. But today we want to talk about Amazon, because Carlos is a renowned expert in the Amazon business. He helps companies to get people situated. He consults. He actually onboards products. He does everything to accelerate businesses on Amazon. And it's one thing for Carmine and I to talk about Amazon, its importance, how it works, what's going on. But to have somebody like you, Carlos, on is a privilege, because we get to hear it from a true expert, somebody who's very accomplished. So we're excited to have you on today.
Absolutely. I want to get a little recording of that little intro and listen to it every morning when I get up.
Do that.
That was perfect.
Get some motivated. See,
if I get my wife behind it too, and like, babe, this is what I want you to say.
And it's right. And see how insignificant my background looks when I'm saying such nice things.
What
see
background?
How it works?
I
can make you forget all about the backgrounds. That's it.
Love it, man.
All right. So Carlos,
by the way, your podcast set records. So it's like the most listened to podcast episode that I have on my podcast. So
don't tell him that, Carlos.
Thank you for that.
Now we're gonna hear about it forever.
And then yesterday, no, it's
really true. Are you serious?
No, it's really true. I could send you a screenshot. I mean, my numbers on my show are probably like nothing compared to what you guys have, but
I want to see a screenshot. Proof.
Absolutely.
I want to see it.
Absolutely.
Oh man, Carlos,
Absolutely.
setting us up now.
See,
oh my God.
Background means nothing. Now that's it. I'm going not even a door. I'm going to all white wall, zero. That's it. Less is more. See that?
And then at an event last night, a Zoom event with my group, we had somebody in from Deliver, and they were throughout the entire thing, we're just getting questions like, hey, Carlos, I listened to your podcast with Jim Debetta. That was amazing. By the way, how would this fit in with what he does? And like everything sort of, rabbit holed into you in that episode. So really good.
That Carmine, image is nothing. Content is king.
Do I stop now, Carmine? What's going on?
You're killing me, Carlos.
It's not April 1st, is it? No. Okay. All right. let's jump into this. Carlos, look, we've talked about, and everybody seems to talk about, when I get inventors reach out to me, one of the first things they say without any knowledge often is, I want to be on Amazon. I want to get my product on Amazon. And I know from personal experience that years ago, you could actually approach Amazon buyers and get products placed. And it was sort of like selling any other retailer. But today, Amazon is, like you said, it's its own beast, its own animal. And to get products set up, organized, approved has become a business and a job. So if you're able to, I know it's not easy to do it in like a couple of minutes type of thing, but can you tell everybody sort of what's going on with Amazon today, the challenges, what it's like to get situated and set up on Amazon as a seller?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, what you were describing there was what we call 1P or vendor central. So you're selling directly to Amazon and they are reselling it. So Amazon is your customer. That's become increasingly difficult to arrange. It's also on the Amazon side, they've become very good at approaching people and sweetening the pot for you to want to sell to them, but they're horrible people to work with. They just destroy you on margins. They have no idea on like how to rank things. You could be selling 100 units a day at $30 and they're like, well, we'll sell it for 50. And they're okay with 5 units a day selling. It's more and more people that have a brand and that want to leverage Amazon are going towards the 3P side. So selling on Amazon Marketplace via Seller Central. And for the most part, it's very straightforward. Describing it here would probably make it sound a lot more complicated than what it is. But you need to have your business docs. You need to have some form of proof of identity tied to like a utility bill or something like that. And then you open the account, you get a pro account. It's $40 a month. Depending on your category, there could be additional restrictions. So, and require additional approval to get ungated and therefore access to the category. As a seller, it's every time they add a barrier, I love it. Just because I'm treating this like a business and this is making it more and more difficult for hobbyists or somebody that got super inspired on some webinar on the weekend to jump in, realize, oh, wow, this is a business. I need to know stuff. And they just tank the price on everything. So that hurts everybody. So I hope that answered the question.
Hey, Carlos, well, you've said a couple of things that I want, and remember that I always say I love to explain things to people like they're in third grade, right? Because we all take for granted what we know and some of the terminology we use, but the average person goes online, they read an article about how to deal with Amazon, and then when they really sit down and think about it, they really don't know what they're doing or understand it. You said, it's becoming more challenging or to get situated or set up with Amazon. And I've learned from personal experience that yes, you have to, it's not, you just present a product to a buyer and they accept it and they do all the work. You have to you have to set up with Seller Central. Like you say, you have to pay a fee every month to be a part of that, to have an account with Amazon set up through Seller Central. And you have to submit proof that you exist. You're a real person or entity. It's not just here's the product, thank you. It's a driver's license or a bank account number or a utility bill or a proven address. And people need to understand that you have to be prepared. You have to be in business. It's not, as you say, a hobbyist thing or somebody just gets an itch and says, oh, I'm just going to go throw some stuff on Amazon like it's eBay. It's not. And I think, well, I know it's because a lot of this has become because of all the fraudulent counterfeit products that have been placed on Amazon, people knocking off things. But you had said something about pricing, and I want people to understand this, and maybe you can clarify it for us.
Sure. Amazon. I'll go. Sorry.
Yeah. So if you have a product, if I put up a widget and it's selling on Amazon for $50, are you saying that Amazon has the right or the ability to adjust that selling price at their discretion based on sales or lack thereof, or just some other reason?
Yes and no. So when we first started talking about this, we were talking about 1P versus 3P, or selling directly to Amazon versus you selling direct on Amazon's marketplace to their customers. If you sell it to them, like imagine if I sell my products to you and you guys decide, you're like, look, I'm going to buy this. I'm not agreeing to any MAP pricing or minimum advertised pricing. I'm not agreeing to any of that. If this thing's moving slow for me, I'll drop the price. Or if I feel like I could sell it for triple the price, I'm going to list it for triple the price. In that scenario, once they bought your product, they can price it however they want. It's their product, and they're going to pay you in your net terms, whatever you've agreed upon. Now, when you're selling it direct, which is the model that I highly recommend, especially if you're just starting off and you want to put your best foot forward in selling your product on Amazon, in that scenario, no, they cannot. They cannot adjust your price willy-nilly. Like, you set your price. One thing to keep in mind with pricing, though, is if you adjust it too high or too low, too fast, Amazon will throttle your listing and they'll suppress it. They'll be like, hey, there's some pricing issues going on here. Or if you created the listing for this widget at $20 and on the back end you said, my suggested retail price is $40, because when you do that, your product detail page is now going to show that $40 with the slash through it, and then now it's selling for 20, so it looks like a deal. If you do that and then later on you jack your price up to $60, Amazon system's going to see that you're pricing it 50% higher on our platform than what you're saying it should retail for. They'll throttle it.
Okay, so for everyone's sake of clarity, 2 ways to sell Amazon. One is the direct approach, which is similar to the way you would approach a retailer. Whether it's Costco, Walmart, whoever, Target, you reach out to a buyer for the particular category of your product. So if you have a pet product, you reach out to a pet buyer. The buyer goes through the same process as if you were approaching Petco or any other retailer. You submit some information, you fill out some vendor setup forms, they review it, you send a sample. Assuming they like everything, they assign you a vendor number. They ultimately issue a purchase order, but they have the right and ability, unless it is mapped. And we talked about minimally advertised pricing. I'll get to that in a second for people's clarity. But basically, if it's the suggested retail is $50, that retailer, assuming they agree that that is a good retail, they'll put it up for 50. But if it's not selling, they may drop it and have a sale. A lot of retailers, I can tell you, on the retail space, don't typically up the price unless there's a new and improved version, but certainly dropping a price to capture more sales is very common. Like, we go into any store, we see there's a 20% off sale, or 50, that's all contrived and done based on the fact that they need to move product. So people can take that route. But what you recommend and what you do help people do, and what I recommend too, is that people sell on Amazon's marketplace via Seller Central, which is just their platform to set up your own, we'll say for lack of a better word, business on Amazon, where you can sell products, but they're going to verify a ton of information, make sure you're legit, but you set the pricing there. And as you're saying, Carlos, that if somebody needs to, or feels like they need to change the pricing, if they go wonky with it, Amazon's going to capture that. And that could be problematic in terms of how you show up or where you rank. So is that all fair to say?
Absolutely. That's right on the money.
Hey,
yeah. It boils down to control.
Okay.
You're launching a product, you want control, that's Seller Central.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Real quick, guys, that Carlos, that actually happened to me, and I'm glad you explained it. I was running low on inventory, so my brain says, okay, just crank the price up. So I slowed down the sale, because I didn't want to run out. And Amazon just put the brakes on it as soon as I raised the price up. I think it was only like $4 or $5, but they just were like, sorry.
Yeah, well, that's extremely logical. And say a year and a half, 2 years ago, that was the best strategy you could do. But the way Amazon's algorithm's currently working, I say currently because, that's maybe next week it's different. This one looks like it's pretty solid. It's going to be there to stay. And it seems counterintuitive, but when you're running out of stock, and let's say that you've forecasted this and you're just not going to make it, like logistics are nuts, you're not going to get it. Even if you received it in time, it's taking a long time to check your products into FBA. You're not going to make it. The actual best strategy right now is to put your foot on the gas. you want to go out of stock if you're going to go out. You never want to go out of stock, but if you're going to go out of stock, you want to go out of stock on the highest velocity, on the best note possible, because then when you come back in stock, Amazon's going to see that, and it's going to increase your chances of being able to get back where you were quicker and more affordably.
Wow.
Hey, Carlos, hey, Carmine and Carlos, and more specifically Carlos here. Is it possible that we can put you on the spot and get you to commit to doing a part 2 show with us, Carlos, perhaps next week, if you're free? If not, because I'm telling you right now, we're not even going to get through 101. And I'm telling you, I want people to really understand the Amazon business, not from me, not from Carmine, but from someone like you. Is that something you think you can do with us?
100%. If you keep the same background, we'll do it.
Yeah. Well, or no, it's mystery background week. Part 2 is mystery. So, all right, because I have so many questions, but I really want people to understand the basics, because I want, I've gone through this as well. So we talked about there's 2 paths, okay? And what I want to get into next week is the algorithms. And do you really need to spend money on ads? How does that work? That's a whole big piece, because as we all know, and we'll save this for the next time, spending money to make money, it applies here. And Amazon is not just like a regular retailer where they have marketing programs and co-op programs, but typically you sell something to Target and Target will take care of things from there. Yes, you should be on social media. You should be pushing that list, your products at Target, and you should be marketing and branding and doing all those things. But Target, for the most part, is going to take care of that stuff. Amazon's marketplace is very different. You need to be in control, as far as I'm concerned, of helping to do what you can to expose your product there, and to get up when someone types in widget. You want it like Google. You don't want your widget to not show up on the first few pages or scroll throughs on your phone. And I want to spend that time next week talking about how do you strategically really succeed and enhance your product on Amazon. It's not list it and people will buy it. It's list it and then, hey, here's all the insider tips and strategies that are needed to really get in the forefront and really move product. Because a lot of people come to me and say, I'm just going to put my thing on Amazon, I'm good. No, you're probably not good. I think it's a lot of people, and that's why a lot of people come to me at retail like, oh, I'm on Amazon, I'm only selling 2 pieces a month. It's probably not because your product isn't great, and it's not that it's not priced right. No one's seeing it. It's like advertising. You have to advertise. And I think all the social media outlets are like that. Facebook, LinkedIn, everything's ad driven. You want exposure, they hold you back. They don't allow your posts to be seen or your things to be visible. But that's for next week. But lots of other questions here. So, all right, I'm a guy, I got a product, I'm new, I don't know what to do. I know we talked about the options here, but there's a checklist. There were very, and you touched on some of them, very specific things that people need to do. So I come to you, Carlos. You are the wizard of Amazon, and I'm a potential client. And I have a widget, and you say, Jim, I like this widget. What's your process? So I approach you and I say, I've got something I want to sell on Amazon, Carlos. I know you charge fees. Great, I understand that. You're the expert. What do you need from me? What's your review? How do you determine if this product is good, if it's suitable for Amazon? And then what are the step 1, 2, and 3 that I need to do to work with you and that process of getting something inserted into Seller Central so it appears on Amazon?
Sure. One of the first things I'll do, even before deciding if I like the product, is I'll break out some tools. Amazon has created this entire industry of software that can almost like cheat codes, it feels like. So one of the tools that I would bring in is Helium 10. Another one would be Brand Analytics Premium. I'd say these would be the 2 that I bring in first. And what I'm looking for there is, on Amazon, you sell keywords, not products.
Okay.
The products are important, and it's hard for me, my branding mind, to like move away from that for a second, but you sell keywords, and I need to make sure that your goals on Amazon and your budget is in line with the keywords that you need to be dominating on, that you need to get organically on the first page for on Amazon. And these tools are going to allow me to see for a given keyword, let's say fat burner, that this particular product, if you're at the top of page 1 on Amazon for a search for fat burner, you're going to be selling a little shy of 800 units a day. If you only have 1,000 units in stock, I'm not going to go after that keyword. So I'm going to figure out what, and I just call that keyword analysis. What are the keywords that are important here? How difficult are they going to be to achieve? And how expensive is that going to be? That's one. The other thing that I'm going to look at is competitor analysis. There are some categories. If somebody comes to me and was like, I have this yoga mat, I really think downward facing dog is the way to go. And I'm going to look at this yoga mat and I'm going to say, okay, I have the keyword analysis, but this is completely saturated by Chinese sellers that are, not all Chinese sellers are bad, but these are just some unscrupulous Chinese sellers that could open up 50 seller accounts in one day against Amazon's terms of service. And they're going to do a lot of black hat against Amazon's rules to rank their product. So I have to decide, or with the person I'm working with, I'm like, look, you're not going to be doing this. I don't advise you do any of these black hat stuff. That's the only way you're going to be able to compete here. It's frustrating. I get it. I don't think this product's a good fit for Amazon though, because you're going to list it. These competitors are going to give you like 100 negative reviews in 1 week. They're going to go in the back end of your listing and in a very sneaky way, put things like pesticide, cocaine, heroin, and the keywords in the back end of your listing. And then Amazon's going to flag it. And you're going to be like, hey, Amazon, obviously this is someone sabotaging my listing. What's up? That process is a month and a half to get fixed. So I would look at them and say, hey, this is not a good fit. Now, or if you're going to do something different with your yoga mat, if you have this invention, like, is there this thing that depending on the temperature at the room, it like grips the floor differently? Or, is there something there that we can differentiate? Can we look at the keywords of our competitors? Sorry, not the keywords, the frequently asked questions, the reviews, especially the negative reviews, and see, okay, this is some problems that these people are having with these yoga mats. Can we fix this? It's above my pay grade. It sounds like that's in your wheelhouse to like know how to fix that. And I'd be like, hey, like this is an area, like if you can address this right here, like this is a winner. Like I can do some damage here. The other part of the keyword analysis, and I think this is the final one for me to decide, hey, I like this, is the assets on the listing, like the images, the video, the copy. I do copy in-house for listings, so that's a wash, but I'm not a photographer and I'm not a videographer. I have a ton of contacts, obviously, but it's not cheap. Some people at this stage, they're thinking, well, my uncle's best friend's neighbor has a daughter who's into Photoshop and she just bought this little light box on eBay. Like, this is not the time for that. Are they willing to invest what it takes to create the assets on this listing, whether it's 3D renders, really high quality, like infographics, like, are they willing to do that? And at that point, if we've checked those boxes, then it's all systems go.
I mean, hold on a minute. Are you sitting here telling me that I could put up something on Amazon that is in a competitive category, like a yoga mat? Mine's cool, better, faster, stronger, whatever it is. And whether it's a Chinese company or some other company, they can come in and hack the system in essence, or sabotage a product and destroy my success before I'm even a success?
Before you're even in excess, like once you've achieved some success, you become a lot more defensive. Yeah, you become a lot more defensible. But I'm going to say yes, that's possible for anyone listening. But I also want to say that if you know what you're doing, or if I'm working with someone, or you learn it on your own, however, there are things you can do to prevent that from happening. There are things like getting a trademark, enrolling in brand registry, making sure the back end of your listing and all those keywords are completely filled in to not allow somebody to stick some other keywords in there. There's a laundry list of things you can do. The transparency program, Project Zero, like a lot of stuff to prevent that from ever happening. If you're just starting though, and you entered a category probably with a little bit of ignorance that it's like you didn't recognize this stuff, then yeah, I feel like anywhere, offline or Amazon or anywhere, you open yourself up to some competitors.
This is like exhausting. Like I can see why people, A, don't succeed on Amazon, B, don't want to get on Amazon, and C, get frustrated with the process. it's more complicated than selling to regular retail. I mean, there are multi-billion-dollar retailers that, like, although I'm making it sound easy, but it's just like step one, step two, you do this, you give them that, and it's done. But they're controlling things, right? It's not, this is a marketplace. People have to understand it's a marketplace. It's everybody and anybody from everywhere, anytime can get on there after getting approved, however they do that. And then it's just a Wild West scenario to a degree. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, I know that you say, Carlos, yes, you can control a lot of that by the way things are set up, the way they're filled in, the way they're organized, the way they're all those, you're checking boxes. The average marketplace seller, Joe and Jane, are not checking those boxes. They're not even aware those boxes exist. And so it's understandable why, and I don't know what the numbers are, if it's like a 99-1 rule where 99% of the products on Amazon fail, that 1% is what really succeeds, and those that succeed generally are because it's contrived. They're working with people or have an understanding of exactly what needs to be done and how to manage the business in order to really have like significant success.
Real quick, Carlos, I know you're going to, I feel like you're talking to me. I mean, all the things that you're explaining, I jumped onto Amazon, listed some products, and these are the exact things that happened to me. I mean, I have a partner. We created this really cool lip balm for cold sores and works awesome. Spent like 2 years to develop this thing. And we're on there, we're selling, we're going gangbusters. And all of a sudden our listing gets shut down. They're asking us for some kind of pesticide license thing. And you're exactly right. I mean, the things that you don't know can really hurt you. And that's a perfect example of, if you're serious, you really need to work with somebody like yourself that knows what the heck they're doing, because it can really hurt your business.
Carmine, that's the thing, guys. They're sudden. It, like Carlos, like you and you're saying, Carmine, you could be on there. You're waking up every day. You're selling 100 pieces a day, 500 pieces, whatever. And then it literally, it's like it's a faucet. It gets shut, or a light switch. It gets shut off.
Yeah.
And then if you're dependent on just selling on Amazon, that's your livelihood. It's like losing your job with no benefits or severance. Like
I also feel, and again, we could turn this into a 10-part series. I mean, that Amazon is horrible. Like they literally do not care when your listing gets shut down. When they're asking me to take a pesticides course because of my lip balm, and I'm talking to this person, I can't even understand them, and they're literally, like you said, Jim, they shut my system down. Like today, I was on the phone with them. They turned off another one of my listings because voice of the customer, some guy said he doesn't like the color of my packaging. So it put me over some threshold and they just shut the listing down.
Well, packaging is important, Carmine. You should know better. Fix it. Come on, man.
I like the color.
let me jump in because I feel like everything you guys are saying is true, but for anybody listening, it's not all doom and gloom. Like in that scenario, it was what I'm looking at. If someone brings me their product before I like it, the vast majority of times, like 95%, if somebody has a valid idea in a product, you're going to be okay. The occasional bot's going to happen that triggers a pesticide. It's not always a saboteur. Also, I would say that if you can get into retail stores, like Jim, I wish I knew about this service a long time ago. I flew all over the US. I exhibited everywhere. I was like dying to get in front of somebody's. I did so many things wrong. So it was ridiculously hard to get in there. So I'm going to say that people probably do have a higher success rate in retail stores, but it's because the barrier of entry is so much higher and you're not dealing with hobbyists. You're not dealing with someone that watched a webinar, is feeling really inspired, has 5,000 on a credit card, and someone told them about AliExpress. So that's a recipe for failure. Whereas by the time somebody has gone through all the hurdles to get into retail, like they would have failed before that point. Yeah. So I think that's important to point out.
At the end of the day, and it is, I think part of the drama here is that there are stories. There's a lot of horror stories at Amazon, but there's a lot of horror stories at Walmart and Target and everywhere else. I know this by doing this for 25-ish years, that experience really reigns supreme when it comes to knowing how to prevent these things. A lot of people and again, we always joke about this, how what we say sounds very self-serving. Like, hey, well, we're in this business and we're trying to scare people into working with us. No, the reality is that if you just try to sell a major retailer or Amazon on your own, you might very well just do fine. And some people are smart enough and will do the research and will talk to people and learn how to navigate their particular systems and do it right. But most inventors don't do that. They get very excited. They love their product. They think nothing can go wrong. They just jump in. They try to sell something. They don't think about the packaging, the pricing, the competition, the whatever it is that's important to that retailer. And then they're upset because it doesn't sell. But having the experience, and Carlos, in your particular case, just what you've said in the last 20 plus minutes, it should be a wake-up call to people, and not in a way to scare them, but to make them understand that if you just do it right from the beginning, step one, this is what you do. Step two, this is how we set up things. Step three, these are the keywords. This is how, the assets you need, videos, photos. If you do it correctly, you stand a much greater chance at succeeding on Amazon and then preventing the types of problems, even like Carmen, that you're experiencing. Obviously, there are millions of people on there selling and doing well. So, and everybody doesn't want to be on there because it's failing or it's a poor platform. There's a lot of Amazon millionaires. I work with clients that sell to retail chains that do 5 and 6 figures a month on Amazon, and they just want more at retail. So like, hey, we're doing, $500,000 a year on Amazon. We want to do 10 million in total. We want to sell to these chains. And there's ways that the two can coincide. You can play together, be on Amazon and be at retail. All the big brands are. So obviously it works. And I know we're kind of getting low on time. And next time, Carlos, I really want to dig into, like I said, the ad spending and how to really ramp up things on Amazon, because again, that's what people don't understand. They think that you just list something because you have a cool product that it's going to sell. And most of the time it just doesn't work that way, because Amazon doesn't act like Walmart.com, or although Walmart has a marketplace, or like Target and some of these other places where their focus is narrow. Target only sells so many things. Amazon sells seemingly everything. It's this huge ocean, and kind of like Target is like a big lake, in comparison.
Something else to keep in mind there, you sort of hinted at, was that, and I feel like I should have brought up a little clearer earlier, is that Amazon is a place to sell products that have existing search. So if it's not something that people are already looking for, it's not going to sell. You could even run PPC. It's just not going to sell. An example would be a client that had she's an extremely petite woman, and she decided to create this brand of like petite wear, petite accessories, because she was tired of shopping in like the teeny bopper section, and she wanted something that was, adult, chic, sexy, not teeny. So I missed this step a long time ago, and she's like, let's launch it on Amazon. So we put it on Amazon. We did all the work, and nothing. We were going after keywords like small, extra small, but extra small and small is way too large for petite. So since there was not an existing demand or search on Amazon for petite, and the word petite something, the product failed. Amazon's not the place to do brand awareness campaigns.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and these are the things that people understand. And yet I've seen people sort of launch things on there, but I always say they're usually, whatever product you invent, there's something sort of like it out there already, even if yours is novel. If you have we talk about pet products, if you have a pet bowl, there's other bowls out there, even if yours is shaped differently or has some other feature to it, there's searchable keywords for pet bowls, and it's a common category. People recognize it. They understand what what dog bowls are. And so if yours is different, how do you differentiate yours from the existing product? But there's a category. Carlos, I say the same thing to people at retail. People come to me, they say, I've invented something. There's nothing like it in the world. I'm like, yeah, but if I go to Target with it and there's no category, which means there's no category buyer, as great as it may potentially be, they don't have anybody who can buy it internally. So yeah. It's almost a detriment to be so unique and so new with something that there's just no home for it on their shelves because their store shelves are planned out to the inch and everything is categorized. If there's no category,
there ain't no market for it if there's no category.
Yeah, right.
Example of that on Amazon is that you have dog bowls, like sticking with pets. And we've been working on creating an Alexa powered dog bowl that kind of like,
Oh,
the gravity dog food and water, and that just
yeah.
drops out the bottom. We want to do one that's Alexa powered. It doesn't raise the cost much. I mean, it doesn't raise our cost much, but we can sell it. It's Alexa. So it's Alexa powered.
Like feed the dog and you're away and it just drops food in. Oh, that's
absolutely. Good. So you can kind of sort of, you can eliminate a lot of the, hey, dog babysitters and stuff like that at the house. You can also meter out the amount of food, because if you put too much, the dog will just, gorge. But if we were to create a drone bowl, that would be way too far and there's no search for it, versus an Alexa powered dog bowl would fit.
Yeah. We actually did a dog bowl like that. It was on a timer, but we did it for a client.
Cool.
I'm telling you, this
wasn't Alexa powered though.
This is really has been like an eye. I mean, I've been in this business forever and I'm picking up things here I just didn't even know. And so imagine what this is like for inventors listening. Again, we just want to reiterate, we're not trying to scare people. We don't want people to be hesitant about going on Amazon. What we want you to do is to understand that it's a process. It's a serious business. People are gunning for you on there. When you become successful, we always say people don't knock off failure. They knock off success. If you become a known entity, people will want a piece of what you're doing. And some people won't be nice about it. Some people will just create a product that they think is better. And some people will be a little unscrupulous and they will try to take you down. But Amazon is definitely a potential gold mine for the right products, done right, set up right, managed right, marketed right, all those things. If you can do that, and it's the same at retail, if you do it correctly and you plan, there's vast opportunities. And people like Carlos, they know how to do that. He knows what to do from the beginning. It's building a house, the foundation. You build the foundation correctly, the house will stand. It will be there. It will look nice. It will perform for you. It will feel comfortable. If you don't build that foundation right, it's sort of like a house of cards, and anything can sort of take it down.
No, I agree.
You treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. You treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. That's perfect for Amazon.
Yeah, it's a quotable right there.
See, Jim, he's like a poet.
Right? I said it's a quotable, right? That's a good one.
I learned it from you guys.
Should I put that on I'll put that on my background. Print that on the wall, spray paint it on the wall with stencils and stuff.
Oh boy.
Well, Carlos, we definitely want you back because, again, this could actually spill into. I know we're just going to be like you're going to be like our resident guest. This could turn into didn't we, Carmen? We had Leslie. Didn't we? We had her on for the buyer, the Toys R Us buyer. We had her on for a three-part thing, and that was I think our most listened to series. People love the series. They love coming back, and I know people want to hear about ads, so that's why I didn't want to talk about it today. That's how we'll get them to come back and listen the next time. But
I want to hear about that too. I waste so much money.
Right? I mean, because that's it. Because it's a big mystery. You're like, how do you handle that? How much do you spend? Do you really need them? And then once you do, how do you write the copy? What do they look like? How does it work on Amazon? Because I go on Amazon all the time. I'm always shopping, and things sort of pop up, or you scroll and there's deals of the day, and there's this and there's that. And how do you get there? Right?
Well, you have the ads, and then you have launching on Amazon, which is an entire other beast.
Right. So say there's a method, there's science to it. It's not just stick something up there and hope it sells, because most of the time it's probably just not going to sell on its own. Even if it's a great product and it's unique and it's fun and it's priced right, there's just a lot more that goes into it. And Amazon is its own entity in that regard. Jim,
what are you talking about? Stuff doesn't sell on its own? Crazy?
We wouldn't even be talking. We wouldn't have time to talk if things were that easy, right? That's what inventors don't realize, that it's not easy.
Right.
But it's easier, a lot easier when you follow the steps and you do things in order, and you work with people that I've done it a million times. Carlos does this every day. If he doesn't know, we're in trouble, right? So
yeah, I'm gonna write down a whole bunch of questions that I need to know, and I'm gonna act like people sent them in. And next show, I'm gonna be hitting
Asking for a friend.
yeah. Oh well, I get questions. I'll tell you that. We don't even have to fake that one. I get more questions about Amazon than anything else in terms of retail.
And if
everything
we want,
else.
Carlos, we can use my account online and share it with the group and just pick it apart and fix it.
I love it. I do that. I mean, I could totally do that. If your skin is thick enough, we could do it.
Oh, I'm not worried. I love making mistakes because whenever I make mistakes, I always fix them and then I can make money. So I have no problem with that.
Let's do it on Carmine stuff so we can all make fun of him.
All right, cool. We're gonna close up the show. This has been awesome, and really looking forward to you coming back, Carlos. Very cool. All you listeners out there, please send in some questions. Let us know how we're doing. We would love to hear. We'll get Carlos and Jim to answer some questions on the show live. It would be awesome. Also, check out Carlos's podcast, Wizards of Ecom, ECOM. It's a pretty cool podcast. Go ahead and check it out. Leave him a review, a rating. He could use the help just like we could. Wherever you are listening to your podcast, let us know how's it going. And we will catch you next time. For Mr. Jim Debetta, for Carlos Alvarez, and for myself, Carmen Nisco, we thank you for listening. And we will catch you next time on Get Retail Ready. You all take care.